once you've set up Gradescope, periodically when things are graded, you'll get an email notification that something has been graded. And what you should do is first pull up a copy of the quiz. In this case, this is a sample quiz, so what you'll see here, it says the word sample right next to my name. You'll see the quiz number or the exam number up here. In general, and in D2L or in Canvas, whatever the course management system is, I will post a copy of the key. So please be sure to take a look through the key. This is one that's posted in D2L. Again, this is just a sample quiz. For these 3 sample questions, you might have a quiz that does not have any of these questions on it, or might have one of these. And you would get an email much like that once you click on the link and you put in your Gradescope login details, you get to a page that looks like this over here on the right. This is a pretend student that I made whose first name is first and last name is last, so their email address is last.first@uwlix. Now there are 3 questions here, and you can see that this is just sample work I wrote using a felt-tipped pen here. This student earned 1 point out of 10 on question 1, and 8 out of 10 on question 2, and 3 out of 10 points on question 3. So that's a total of 12 points out of 30. Before digging in, I just want to point out that at the very bottom here, there's this link that you can click on that says Download Original. That'll actually, well, when I click on it, it'll actually open a new tab that gives you, really, this is a PDF that you can download and save, so you can actually have an electronic copy. There are certainly pros and cons to using a system like this, but one of the pros for sure is that you will never have anything that you can lose. You can always log in to get a copy, or if you wanted to look at a copy offline of the original work, you can download a PDF and save that. So here, only 1 point out of 10 was earned, and what you can do is on the question, the text that sort of describes the question itself, click there, and you'll see an entire rubric. So what you see here is, generally speaking, the way I organize this is that all the first couple rubric items you want all of those to be checked in order to earn credit. You'll see here that this sample student earned a check mark here, so that check corresponds to earning 1 positive point for saying that the formula is true. However, it did not earn the 1 point related to a diagram of a rectangle being drawn, did not earn 2 points related to what one side of the rectangle should look like, and so on and so forth. Then down here, after sort of the main, I try to stack all the positive, like if those first things are all earned, that's how you would earn the 10 points, out of the 10. Then I usually have some comment items. So these are not worth points positively or negatively. It's probably because this is meant to provide some context for why something wasn't selected in some cases. So this comment about cannot earn for saying FOIL or FOIL distributes, I guess that should have been checked on for this student, but it wouldn't have mattered in terms of points anyway. You do see this comment item that is checked here for this student. It says, hey, comment, the expectation for this formula is to compute an area 2 different ways. Please consult the key. So if we look over at the key over here on the left, we see the type of work that should have been there. So in this case, the instructor has selected this first rubric item, said formula is true, that earned 1 point. And this 0 points, so no effect on the points, but just a comment that the instructor selected that applied was that the expectation for this formula is to compute a generic area 2 different ways. So that's how this student earned the 1 out of 10 points. The ideal situation would have been check here, check, 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 so that the 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 would have been 10. Then on to the second question. So I'll click on the title for the second question. Here the student did much better, earned 8 points out of 10. So it looks like the student actually earned, I can zoom in here on the work for the student here, earned the 2 points here, and the 1 point, and the 2, and the 1, and the 2, and the 1, and the 1. That looks like actually a full 10 points. But then what happened was that the student in this case, while doing the work that was needed, also did not include other things that were required. In this case, the student was missing an equal sign. And you'll see equal signs in the work in the key over here. And is missing an equal sign a second time, so that was considered a second offense, so to speak. So there's in addition to the 10 points collected here, see all these check marks mean these items apply, there's a check mark here and a check mark here. So these 2 items applied to this quiz submission, so that was a 1 point deduction and another 1 point deduction here. There's a comment item here that was 0 points. It did not apply to this quiz. So this was a comment that applied to other students, but even though it didn't apply it's sort of worth reading through just to say to yourself, oh, this is a comment that applied to one of my peers. So someone else in class received the comment, your simplification of 10 minus 6 plus 16 became 10 plus 10, and so on and so forth. So it's sometimes neat to read through that just to see what's going on. And then finally for question 3, the student earned 3 points out of 10. So we'll click on the question title, product of square roots, and then let me kind of zoom in on the student's work, and we'll see what happened here. So yeah, the student earned credit for the first rubric item and for the second rubric item. It looks like to earn full credit, the student should have needed these other rubric items checked, but that didn't occur. It looks like there was a 1 point deduction related to trying to get the student to note that w to the 9th power really isn't a perfect square, and it certainly is not. In fact, that same comment is found here in red as a warning at the end of the quiz key. So it looks like there's a couple things that the student should have done to earn full credit here. You wanted to check there, and there, but got these first 2 positive rubric items checked, and then this 1 point negation, this sort of watch out, be a little careful about what's going on kind of thing. However, you see here the student did use their equal signs correctly. Had these equal signs been missing, then maybe the student would have had this 1 point check and perhaps this other 1 point off checked. But you see that the only 3 rubric items applying to this question 3 for the student is this one, that one, and then this, so first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So the first, second, and sixth rubric items apply to the student. The other rubric items did not apply to this particular student.